Hi guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions. For those of you who are new, my name's Boomy and thank you for watching. Now today guys, I've got a treat for all you South Park fans out there. So we're not going to be watching a compilation this time. So this is more, I think it's like a bit of a documentary on the evolution of Randy Marsh from South Park. Because let's face it, he's a fan favorite. He is the best character, isn't he? He always gets involved in like the craziest scenarios. I love his, most of the time, very misplaced, overinflated belief in himself. And just his crazy ideas. He always wants to be the cool dad as well. And yeah, just the absolute bizarre scenarios that he ends up getting himself into. He's so funny. And I don't know, so I know starting off in earlier South Park, he's kind of just a bit of a side character. And he's a geologist, isn't he? I think they purposefully gave him what they thought would have been quite, you know, a boring job. It's definitely not a boring job. Hey, I like geology as much as the next person. But yeah, he kind of evolved into, what did he go? I know he's got a farm, hasn't he? He's got a cannabis farm. I've not seen the episodes that far ahead, but I've seen the memes. And that's the name of the farm, isn't it? Is it Tegridy? Tegridy Farms? No idea why it's called Tegridy Farms. But yes, I do know he kind of progresses into a cannabis farmer. Honestly, so ridiculous. So here we are, guys. Today's video has been requested by one of my wonderful patrons. This is from Jeb. Thank you very much, my lovely. And Jeb says he's suggesting this one because it's a great look at one of South Park's best characters. Nay, Jeb, the best character in South Park, in my humble opinion. So yeah, let's crack on with the video, guys. Oh gosh, here we go. Jump straight into it. What's going on here? Guys, if you enjoy these reactions, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me Coffee account. That link is over here. And if you would like to help support my channel any further, I have a Patreon account. And if you want to check that out at all, that link is in the description just below there. Okay, the evolution of Randy Marsh. No Tegridy.
Randy Marsh. Has a character in TV history ever undergone a transformation like Randy? Over the course of 23 seasons of South Park, Randy has gone from a simple father and geologist to an obsessive weed farmer who literally caused the ongoing pandemic. A truly wild evolution. But honestly, if you follow Randy's journey over these 23 seasons... Did
he actually? In the world of South Park, obviously. How did he start? How did he start that?
The funny thing is that this development actually feels really natural and earned. He didn't just become an obsessive oaf one day. They slowly introduced certain quirks to Randy's personality, and those quirks evolved and developed over time. Randy went from being a moderately utilized secondary character to arguably the star of the entire show. And while there are some people who take exception to Randy's presence at the forefront of South Park these days, I think the journey itself is a fascinating one. So let's comb over 23 seasons worth of the man with absolutely no integrity and explore the evolution of Randy Marsh.
Oh, hey, f you,
Johnny.
No, I have seen, he's Lord, isn't he? Yes, I've seen that one. Very, very funny. He has evolved into what I would say is actually one of the main characters in South Park now. You know, even a bigger character than Mr. Garrison. Yep, definitely. And it's because, I don't know, the kind of things that made him really funny and they were quite quirky about him early on, I feel like they've matured, you know, they've aged like a fine wine into becoming some of the main jokes and the themes running through most of the episodes. It's actually very, very impressive to watch how he has kind of snuck in to becoming a main character.
That cartoon just cursed.
Tariq, we did this bit on my last video.
Son, talk about the podcast.
Cartoons That Curse is a podcast I host with my good friend Toon Rev Tariq, where we talk about all of our favorite adult animated series one season at a time. We've been talking about Futurama, and we'll probably be talking about South Park at some point. So make sure to check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google, or watch the video version here on YouTube. Thank you.
Ooh, I want to watch that. Yes, I am an adult that likes animation and cartoons. So I'd like to watch that podcast.
I don't know. Maybe I'll drink a few more beers and see where the party takes me.
Randy's first appearance comes in
Dad.
the 3rd episode of the series, Volcano,
Yes, his
though it wasn't
eyebrows.
yet revealed that he is Stan's dad. He's introduced as the town geologist who ultimately saves the town from an erupting volcano. All things considered, he's a pretty normal and competent dude in this first appearance. He alerts the mayor about the volcano eruption, finds a solution, and executes it. Although, he does burn down Denver in the process. While Randy is present in many episodes of South Park over the first 8 seasons or so, there are really only a handful of episodes that bring Randy to the forefront of the conflict, and often that is through his son Stan. That being said, they do start to set up some traits that end up defining Randy pretty substantially later on.
Always
In
wants to be the
episode
cool
212 Clubhouses, Randy and Sharon decide to get a divorce after fighting incessantly.
Don't interrupt me. You always interrupt me when I talk. Can't you see that
I don't interrupt you.
This isn't really portrayed as anything overly dramatic, it's mostly played for laughs, exaggerating the types of things that happen when a couple gets divorced. We see Sharon immediately move on to a new man, while Randy gets a nice new convertible and starts partying, quickly taking to single life. But this is mostly portrayed from Stan's point of view. While the episode is mostly parodying the effects of divorce, this would be sort of a small hint at Randy's obsessive personality that would be showcased later. In the end, the two of them of course get back together. In 302's Spontaneous
I can't remember
Combustion, we
that.
start to see a sort of proto-Randy, a solid example of some things that the show would start to do with Randy later on, though it's still not a huge focus. When citizens of South Park start to spontaneously combust, Randy is tasked with finding out why, since he's apparently the town's only scientist. The sequence
I
of
was going to say, has this happened a few times? He's a geologist, not a doctor. What is it that makes the people of South Park go to Randy? Because there is a crazy scientist, isn't there? What's his name? Or what happened to him, actually? But yeah, they always end up going to Randy.
where Randy is doing research are pretty classic. They just show him mixing random chemicals in the basement while he brainstorms. That's pretty classic. I said that
Sciencey
already.
stuff.
But funny enough, Randy does figure out what's causing the spontaneous combustion.
Kenny combusted
Oh.
because he held his farts in for too long.
You mean all we have to do is fart and we won't explode?
Exactly.
And he literally wins a Nobel Prize for this discovery and solution, which he is then stripped of when the
I
farting
missed it.
solution causes way more problems than it solves. On paper, pretty classic Randy. In execution, relatively subdued compared to what we've gotten used to. 308's Two Guys Naked in a Hot Tub is a really funny episode, but honestly, it starts to explore Randy's fears and regrets in ways the show hadn't yet. Randy actually laments his lack of freedom that comes with his life as a family man.
I love having a family and all. I just miss being able to party, drinking and socializing, and experimenting with all kinds of different things.
I'll touch more on this aspect of
Oof, that is a lot of body hair.
Randy's fears later, because for now it's mostly used as an entry point for Randy to, all right, what's the monetization friendly way to say this? Pleasure himself in front of Gerald, and then get really insecure that somebody's going to find out. 408, Something You Can Do With Your Finger, feels like a really good early example of some of Randy's weirder quirks and interests being revealed. Randy is absolutely furious that Stan is in a boy band, and his attitude towards the whole thing is really funny. It feels like they were starting to feel out a lot of the fun traits that they could roll with later in the show for Randy. We learned that when Randy was 18 years old, he too was in a boy band, Ghetto Avenue Boys, and he was wildly successful for a year of his life. Unfortunately, the music industry spit him out as quickly as it ate him up.
Because all the fame, the money, the women, all it did was build me up so that I could be knocked down harder than anybody in the world.
Honestly, I
He he keeps coming back to the music industry. A few more ways than one. Lord, you know.
think this line here is actually really revealing, and the show slowly starts to paint a picture of this sad, regretful father who's afraid that his best days are behind him. These
Yeah.
aren't the only episodes in early South Park that feature Randy heavily, but they are the ones that sort of individualize him. He still does plenty of other weird, quirky stuff throughout this era of South Park, but honestly, for a huge chunk of the other episodes, it's the entire town that goes along with these weird, quirky situations. Randy is often just a part of a bigger mob that's partaking in these strange events.
Or is the member of the mob that suggests the weird things and then everyone else goes along with it? It's building him up. It's character development.
Outrage about Chin Pokemon's effect on kids? Randy's there. Civil War reenactment? Randy.
He's there.
Becoming zombified by Ritalin? Randy's there
He's
too.
there.
He sort of leads the charge in leaving the church and becoming atheists, which a lot of people end up doing in this episode, and also starts shitting out of his mouth. South Park embracing the metrosexual lifestyle? Oh, you know Randy's there.
It's super fabulous. Would you like some Shiraz?
He's at the forefront of the pro/anti-war conflict in I'm a Little Bit Country. He becomes obsessed with Walmart when the town builds one. He convinces the whole town to double down when they try to win South Park back from the casino.
Stan, okay? You just don't understand the fine points of gambling. You're never supposed to stop when you're on a winning streak.
There are honestly countless examples of Randy.
Given Randy's kind of personality, I'm not surprised that he's going in for the gambling, drinking, drugs. Do you know, I think Randy comes up with a new idea kind of like every other month and then obsesses over it. And then it turns into this whole thing, like a business or this kind of crazy adventure. So Randy.
Going along for the ride with the other citizens of South Park. A major aspect of the show has always been the town of South Park itself getting really caught up in ridiculous conflicts. And usually when Randy was a part of them, he was sort of just our window into the townspeople. He wasn't necessarily a standout. Like in A Little Bit Country, yeah, he's one at the forefront of the anti-war protests, but he's mostly just representing half of the town. There's nothing inherently Randy about his actions in the episode. He's just our access point into this side of the conflict. Though
I think a lot of the time he represents the ideology of the dumb masses. Do you know what I mean? Like the average lay thinker that doesn't think things through but is happy to go along with what other people are telling them. Randy represents them a lot.
Episodes like My Future Self and Me do start to show off some of Randy's quirks through some of these town-wide situations. And some episodes maybe put a tad more of a focus on Randy, even though it's a town-wide conflict. Like when the Walmart moves into town.
Dad, you're a geologist.
I'll make less money, sure, but as long as I buy everything at Walmart, it'll all even out.
But overall, these early seasons of South Park primarily showcase Randy as a slightly more prominent South Park citizen, and not nearly as much as an individual. But in season 9, one episode would change that forever.
Oh, which episode was it?
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America?
Episode 905, The Losing Edge, is, in my opinion, a perfect episode of South Park. I mean, I could go on for days about this episode. It balances a hilariously clever and subversive conflict for the kids with a gut-busting Randy-focused subplot, but for this video, let's just talk about how this episode completely shaped the future of Randy Marsh.
I always find it really kind of bizarre when you see the kids and you actually see the hair, because most of the time it's covered with the hats, and then it's like, oh, Kyle's a redhead, and Stan's got like really dark hair, like Randy.
In this episode, Randy becomes obsessed with getting drunk and fighting other dads at Stan's baseball games. In fact, it totally becomes its own sport for him. The pride that Randy feels for beating up these other dads is immeasurable. It's possibly the thing that he's most proud of accomplishing in his entire life.
He wants to be the
Worked hard and
strongest
believed
dad.
in myself, and now I'm gonna be fighting in the state championship game.
I think this is actually a really natural evolution from what we've learned about Randy. Those fears that he talked about in the hot tub, his insecurities about life passing him by. This is seemingly the first instance of Randy embracing something new that is just for him. Something he is invested in that is completely his own, and an accomplishment no less. This also marks another important occasion, one of the first times that Sharon starts to get super fed up with Randy's bullshit, which would come into play later.
She gets fed up with it like every episode. Poor woman. I want to know how Sharon and Randy met, because something tells me that in her youth she was a bit of a live wire. She was, maybe a bit kinky or a bit saucy, a bit foxy.
Yeah, and on top of all this, the episode showcased that Randy is absolutely fucking hilarious.
You want a piece of me? Because I'm pretty sick of your goddamn mouth.
What do you want to do, huh?
Look, Randy was funny before this, but by showcasing him in these elevated, drunken, ridiculous states, they were able to convey a performance for Randy that they hadn't before, and I think it unlocked something special for the show. Something they maybe didn't realize that they actually had until now. Randy is comedy gold, and from here on out, he became a much more prominent character on South Park. He was still used very often as our townspeople surrogate, so when the town is going through some weird fad or obsession, we would still often see that through Randy.
See it through Randy's
Episodes like
eyes,
You Have
yeah.
Zero Friends saw him get really caught up in the Facebook fad.
Well, so, are you gonna add me as a friend?
He had a hilarious role in Night of the Living Homeless.
Look, Glenn, we're safe!
He's at the forefront of the celebrations when Obama becomes president.
Yeah! Yeah, Obama! Change!
It's change!
He basically leads the town in their weird worshipping of the economy.
Finger pointing gets us nowhere! Steve!
And he took the nationwide queefing conflict to Congress. They also started giving Randy significant subplots in kid-centric stories. One of the most memorable is obviously Make Love Not Warcraft.
Yeah.
The focus of this episode is the kid's struggles to play World of Warcraft, but they gave a substantial subplot to Randy trying to play the game as well.
Randy, you're working on that sediment analysis?
Not now, Nelson. I just joined a big party of night elves and we're gonna explore the Tower of Azora together.
And this riffs pretty well on those insecurities that we've been seeing
Love
slowly
Randy.
surface for Randy as the show goes on. He becomes more and more obsessive over seemingly trivial things, and oftentimes things that are loved by younger generations. Randy
wants
is
to be the
initially
cool dad.
confused by World of Warcraft, but quickly gives it a try for himself. Hey, he even saves the day before being killed in front of Stan. Or even episodes like Fantastic Easter Special, where we find out that Randy is a part of the Hair Club for Men, a secret society that keeps the secret of Easter.
With all the frills upon it, I'll be the grandest lady in the Easter parade.
Side note, this is one of my favorite episodes of the whole show. The idea is hilariously Randy, but it's also mostly just the inciting incident for Stan's big Easter adventure. They just start to utilize him in a more foundational supporting role, rather than just part of the town. But the biggest change after The Losing Edge was that we started to get episodes that were basically 100% Randy episodes. And we would usually get at least a couple a season. Even the end of season 9 throws Randy to the forefront of the show again in Bloody Mary, when Randy gets pulled over for drunk driving.
What seems to be the officer problem?
This episode actually deals with Randy's addictive personality, but it also does so in the most Randy way possible. When an AA meeting tells Randy that his alcoholism is a disease, Randy takes this, well, about as far as you'd expect Randy to take it.
This disease is just eating me up! I hate my illness!
After this, we see so many Randy-centric episodes that continue to elevate the Randyisms to a
No.
ridiculous degree.
No,
Season 11's
stop.
Apologies to Jesse Jackson shows Randy, well,
Oh gosh, yeah.
we all know what Randy does in this episode.
Yes, we
Just ludicrous stupidity, and his response to the controversy is equally
Very
ludicrous.
unfortunate.
Season 13's Pinewood Derby is another of my personal favorites, and this is basically just a Randy highlight factory. He's so desperate for Stan to win the Pinewood Derby that he steals a superconducting magnet from the Large Hadron Collider. Because of this, the car literally breaks warp speed, leading to first contact with alien life. But because of Randy's complete incompetence, he basically leads the human race down the exact wrong path. In the end, it turns out that the aliens were testing the human race to see if they were worthy of being a part of their intergalactic
we're definitely
federation,
not.
and Randy's leadership gave them their answer, a resounding no way.
Since you did not return the space cache, your species and your planet is hereby forever blocked off and barred from the rest of the universe.
I mean, to be fair, the entire planet goes along with Randy's awful plan, so it's not all on him, but he did lead the way.
He kind
In
of
fact,
leads it,
Randy
yeah.
is shown to lead a lot of weird fads. Season 14's medicinal fried chicken is a particularly egregious example of this. When a medical marijuana dispensary opens up in South Park, Randy literally gives himself cancer so that he can get high all the time. Can I show this? I don't know if I can even show this. I guess I'll do some blurring. But Randy also ends up convincing all of his friends in town to do the
His
same
colleagues.
thing. This is so funny, but it's another example of the lengths Randy would go to feed his addictive personality. And the show also goes to great lengths to explore the depths of Randy's insecurities. In the episode More Crap, Randy breaks the world record for largest dump
Oh,
ever taken.
no, I-
He instantly
oh.
gets competitive about it, and he is so depressed when his record is beaten by Bono. Look, this is absolutely one of the most ridiculous episode premises in South Park history, but you cannot deny that it truly explores Randy on a
one of them.
substantial and meaningful level.
I know that this late in my life I'll never come so close to finally having meaning.
The longer the
That's what it is. So he finds an obsession. He has this very overinflated sense of self-belief. He runs with it, and it's the lengths he goes through to kind of achieve these weird, validating milestones, or just, you know what I mean.
show continues, the more they explore Randy's regrets and his desires to leave some sort of lasting impact on the world, to have some sort of major success that gives his life the meaning he craves. This idea is also further explored in season 14's Cream Fraiche. I can't say this title without laughing. This episode is where Randy becomes completely obsessed with the Food Network and becoming a celebrity chef. He even starts working at the school cafeteria.
Today we're gonna be making the students my tasty baked ziti with basil and fresh mozzarella.
Damn, remember Chef? I miss Chef. This episode ultimately gives an alternative explanation for Randy's Food Network obsession, but this again illustrates Randy's desire to be something more than what he already is. And this actually comes to a head in an incredible season 15 episode, You're Getting Old. This episode is genius, one of my favorites of the whole show. I know I've said that a bunch already. And Randy's story is very much secondary to Stan's, but it also says a lot about the state of South Park. Honestly, I think I might do a separate video on this episode and its place in South Park history, but for now, let's focus on Randy.
Was that a turd on a flower? Yeah, the lengths that Randy will go through. He seems to have a new obsession like every other episode, and then his life becomes absorbed into this obsession, and it's obsessive, and it becomes, you know, the thing he has to do to find meaning. I'm sure there's some kind of a psychiatric complaint going on there, maybe he's got something going on.
Episode is specifically about Randy's refusal to admit that life is passing him by. The kids are all into a new music genre called tween wave, which pointedly sounds like literal shit to Randy and all other adults.
Oh, come on. That music sounds like shit.
No, it's just young and hip, so you don't get it, Sharon.
But Randy will not admit that he isn't hip to the new trends. He falsely claims that he actually loves the music, even though it's abundantly clear that it sounds like shit to him. In fact, he even tries to start performing his own tween wave music, thinking that this might be his chance to actually make it big as a musician. And the results are, well...
I got a fever, but it's under control.
This is not only hilarious, but it lines up so well with what we know about Randy and his history. Randy was in a boy band at age 18 and tasted success, but that success was short-lived. We learned in the Guitar Hero episode that Randy played guitar and had dreams of being a rock star that never panned out. And through so many of these episodes that we've talked about, Randy has desperately tried to capture some sort of new success in life. But Randy's antics finally catch up to him in his relationship with Sharon, who is just completely fed up with his behavior. And she cites all of these same things that we've been talking about as the reason for this.
You do this all the time! First, you're obsessed with baseball fights. Then you need to play Warcraft. Then you gotta be a celebrity chef.
The two of them argue until they actually get to the root of the issue.
Because I'm unhappy, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I've been unhappy for a long time.
Now, this is definitely metatextual and has a lot to do with how Matt and Trey were feeling about the show itself at the time, which again, I'd really like to make a video about, but this also says a ton about Randy as a character. After all, in a lot of ways, Randy is a reflection of Matt and Trey themselves, so it all kind of ties together. The reason that Randy continues to become more bombastic and obsessive and journey down these ridiculous story paths is because he isn't happy with his life, something that has been really well established over the course of the show. This episode actually ends with Sharon and Randy getting divorced, and honestly, the montage set to Fleetwood Mac's Landslide is really emotionally affecting. Okay.
Oh, I can't remember that episode. I need to go watch it. It's interesting that Matt and Trey kind of use just the one character, Randy, to enact out these feelings, maybe, I don't know, like midlife crisis type thing. Yeah, you'd think maybe they'd pick a handful of characters. No, just Randy.
Maybe the song is just emotionally affecting no matter what, but I love the sequence. And while this episode and its follow-up did sort of put out the idea that the show and its characters needed a change and shouldn't just reestablish the status quo, they sort of throw that idea away for a quick joke.
Get in the car, Stan. Your mom and I are moving back in together.
What?
Up, pal, surprise!
Which is a really funny moment, admittedly. But even though it seemed like they were going to return back to the status quo, over the following 8 seasons, the show really started to see some major changes. For a few seasons, Randy continues his ridiculous plans as expected. In Broadway Brodown, he becomes obsessed with Broadway musicals, even venturing to write one for himself, which is a little autobiographical for Matt and Trey. In seasons...
Yeah, there's the reason behind it, though. That is very Randy. No pun intended. But it's there. Yeah.
16, Randy creates a football replacement sport called Sarcastaball and even becomes the head coach of the Denver Broncos. He buys a Blockbuster Video in the year 2012, thinking that it's his ticket to finally being successful.
And some gifts for the kids, too. After all, we're rich now.
This turns into a full-blown Shining parody, and Randy nearly kills his family. But it's also just another example of how desperate Randy is to find a new success in his life. In season 17, Randy becomes a mall security guard for Black Friday, initially just planning on using his position to get a better spot in line for Black Friday. Friday deals, but eventually becoming fully invested in the massive war that is holiday shopping. But in season 18, the show starts to try something new: serialization, at least in small doses. This wasn't a fully serialized season, but there were aspects of each episode that continued to cross over through the entire thing. And for Randy in season 18, there was one thing that played out all season long.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I am Lord, yeah, yeah, yeah. Lord, Lord, come in, Lord, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's right, for season 18, Randy was moonlighting as music sensation Lord, all while still working as a geologist. This is definitely Randy's biggest accomplishment, though it seems that it maybe didn't bring him all that much joy since he was sort of pretending to be someone else. In fact, in the middle of the season, he even takes a little break to pursue cock magic, apparently something that he used to do in college. This is another of my favorite episodes. You should go watch it if you haven't seen it. But it appears that Randy's career as Lord was short-lived, because in season 19, he's onto all kinds of new ventures. He joins a PC frat, he spearheads the attempts to gentrify parts of South Park so that they can get a Whole Foods.
Yes, it's where the presidential candidate is from. No, 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 hold on. Soda sopa. We have a soda sopa, but the town is completely different.
Interestingly, this was actually a pretty Randy light season, and both seasons 20 and 21 are similar. For season 20, the first truly and fully serialized season, Randy's throughline has a lot to do with his addiction to member berries. Basically, nostalgia fruit. It ultimately culminates in Randy being sort of zombified and possessed. But this lines up pretty effectively with the addictive tendencies we've seen from him over the entire show. Season 21 has a couple Randy-focused episodes. He has a show called White People Renovating Houses.
I do the construction and practice MMA in my spare time.
He becomes really fixated on canceling Columbus Day, even though he previously was super obsessed with Christopher Columbus.
You have to understand, it was 2013. Everyone was stoked on Columbus back then.
Pretty standard Randy action. Hyperfixations coupled with ridiculous stupidity. It kind of seems like the show was just running through the motions with Randy after a stint as Lord, giving him a few episodes a year and having fun with him. But everything would change in season 22.
Ooh.
So I loaded up the kids, took my wife by the arm.
It's the farm. It's the farm.
And I moved on out to a Colorado farm.
In season 22, Randy gets fed up with his life and the people of South Park, and he moves his family to the valley to become weed farmers. Some people take issue with this development, but it actually makes plenty of sense given what we know about Randy.
I was going to say, it is the most Randy thing that could happen to Randy, so I don't know, it makes sense. Do you think, maybe this is a controversial point, do you think maybe Randy has maybe a personality disorder of some description? He seems to find a new obsession and like a different personality. He's something different like every other episode, and he has to fulfill it. He gets obsessive with it and it defines him, but then it doesn't, and he's empty, and it still makes him not happy. Just food for thought, you know?
No, he's been unhappy with his life and is constantly trying to fill that void with new careers and experiences.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been a
the
geologist, boy band member, Walmart employee, cafeteria chef, Broadway musical writer, coach of the Denver Broncos, mall security guard, owner of Blockbuster Video, music sensation Lord, cock magician, host of White People Renovating Houses, and now, finally, a weed farmer. But this is also something that speaks to his addictive personality. I mean, he's been addicted to gambling, alcohol, heroin hero, weed, internet porn, member berries, crack, and weed again. Season 22 has a lot of fun with Tegridy Farms for this one episode, and then it sort of acts as a minor subplot / throughline for the remainder of the season. Events take place there, like Man Bear Pig mauling Ned, but there isn't much of a focus on it story-wise until the season finale, Bike Parade. But this season finale, I think, is really important for Randy's development moving forward. Because of the Amazon strike, Randy starts getting a huge amount of traffic through Tegridy Farms, like probably the most success he's ever seen in his life, save for Lord, but we won't count that. And pretty quickly, this goes to Randy's head. He does end up helping the town take down Jeff Bezos by getting everyone stoned enough not to care about the Amazon strike, but chasing down the success leads directly into season 23, which is a different show entirely. And I mean that literally. The South Park theme song is nowhere to be found. Completely replaced by the new Tegridy Farms title sequence. Randy Marsh was now, fully and officially, the star of South Park. The first 6 episodes of the season are literally episodes of Tegridy Farms, and Randy is the main character throughout. But the through line for these episodes is how through selling weed with quote-unquote Tegridy, Randy starts to chase success, and in the process, completely loses all Tegridy.
Integrity. Yeah, I just caught on to that earlier. Yes, I'm a little bit dense. I wondered why it was called Tegridy Farm for quite a while. Because you got no Tegridy. I get it. I get you. Okay.
First episode of Tegridy
That makes
Farms,
it
Randy
funny.
literally bombs the home grow ops of South Park residents because they're taking away his business. In the second episode, he makes a deal with communist China, who uses his weed to plant on protesters. This episode would actually get South Park banned in China. He starts selling plant-based burgers using his leftover product, claiming it's for the environment, but then proceeds to murder an entire herd of cattle because he doesn't know what to do with them. Tegridy Farms is about a man who has achieved success beyond his wildest dreams and completely loses sight of what is right and wrong in the process. The show focuses on Randy for the first 6 episodes of the season before airing the Tegridy Farms quote-unquote season finale. But then in South Park's actual season finale, the 10th episode of the season, they run back to Randy to ask for help to get the town in the Christmas spirit. And his solution? To sell everyone weed that is
Get high.
caked in cocaine. That's Tegridy. He even does a line with Santa and Jesus.
Okay, I get it. It's really clean.
And this just continues into the pandemic special. We see Randy showcase probably the least Tegridy yet, revealing that when in China, Randy actually created the coronavirus. I'm not going to show you how though. I'm pretty sure I'll get demonetized. The entire special he tried.
I want to ask, but I don't. I'm going to ask. Oh, actually, no. What's bad enough where they're not going to put it in this video? How did he create the coronavirus? Is it anything to do? What are they called? Is it like a pangolin? It's nothing to do with one of those little animals, is it? Okay, I'm still going to ask how did that happen?
Tries to fix the problem, but not because he feels remorse. It's simply because he doesn't want to get caught. No damn Tegridy. The funniest thing about
No
Randy and
Tegridy.
Tegridy Farms is how he's sort of being used to convey meta commentary to the audience from Matt and Trey. The general response to Tegridy Farms from the fan base has been, please go back to South Park. So basically, Matt and Trey say this in the show through Randy.
You know, is it me, or are people starting to not be that stoked on Tegridy Farms?
But they also sort of mock the fans about
wanna
it
see
in really
Tegridy
funny
Farms.
ways.
Did everyone enjoy the Halloween special?
No, Randy. Only you did.
Oh, well, that was pretty much my target audience anyway.
Even after the vaccination special, which in so many ways resets the show back to the status quo, they still make it clear that Randy isn't done with Tegridy Farms. And honestly, I'm pro Tegridy Farms.
Yeah, me
I know it's not
too.
everyone's favorite, but I'd rather the creators of the show have fun and find creative inspiration than try to force the show to be what it used to be. I don't want a soulless imitation of South Park's classic seasons. I want inspired stories that they're excited to tell. So for now, Randy Marsh is the owner and operator of Tegridy Farms, and he had a wild journey getting there. He started as a pretty simple father and geologist. We were slowly introduced to some funny quirks and obsessions, which then evolved into wild hyperfixations and career changes in the midst of a midlife crisis, and finally settled into a weed farmer with absolutely no Tegridy. If we looked at Randy in the first season and the most recent season, you probably wouldn't be able to tell it's the same character. But when you watch the series beginning to end, it couldn't have happened any other way. Hey folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember to check out the Cartoons That Curse podcast. If you like this video, let me know down in the comments and do all the liking and subscribing thing. And also let me know if there's any other South Park topics you want me to cover. Peace.
I like Randy's stubbornness to change, which is obviously Matt and Trey's stubbornness to revert back to traditional South Park. That's their target audience anyway. Oh my gosh. He really is the best character. He's nuts. He's crazy. I think, it's quite beautiful really that, he's the character that's symbolizing the feelings of the creators and the writers. That's kind of nice in a weird storyline kind of way. I think I'm going to regret asking that about the COVID outbreak, but I'm too curious to not ask. So what did he do? It can't be worse than the giant poo episode. So gross. Anyway, guys. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Jeb, for requesting that video. That has tickled me. I love any excuse to watch any more South Park, especially Randy themed episodes. Brilliant. He has become one of the main characters, and I'm glad. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that little documentary along with me. It's very, very interesting, actually. I learned a lot of things which I didn't know. I do need to go back. Oh, I'm saying this about all of these compilations. I need to watch the episodes again. I've forgotten so much of it. Guys, I hope that had you laughing along with me. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.